Hello again. And this is, we're talking about inequalities, all different kinds. So we're just going to kind of dive right in. Please remember that this is less than, greater than, less than equal to, greater than equal to. Okay, I always remember that less points left. That's just how I remember it. Okay, always remember to change the direction of the inequality symbol when multiplying or dividing by a negative number. Let's see. So we're just going to dive right in. We are solving a linear, so we're just going to solve regular. How do you get rid of add 7? You minus 7. So negative 2x is less than negative 12. Divide by negative 2. Now I am dividing by a negative, so I got to remember to flip my sign. X is greater than 6. Now, it wants everything in what's called interval notation, so I'm just going to kind of make a note. If you have x is less than a number, x is greater than a number, x is less than or equal to a number, x is greater than or equal to a number. It needs to look like this. X is less than a number is negative infinity, comma, the number, with a parentheses. This one is a number, comma, infinity with a parentheses. Negative infinity, comma, the number with a bracket, and then bracket number, comma, infinity. This is inequality notation. This is called interval notation. Every answer in the My Math Lab, all the things, wants it in interval. So you need to be able to kind of go back and forth, so you may want to make a note of that. So how would I write this in interval notation? I'm actually going to put it on a number line. If I were to graph it, it would be an open circle going to the right because it's pointing to the right. That open circle, it's a parentheses, 6, and that's 6 by the way, comma, and it's going to infinity because positive infinity is to the left, to the right, negative infinity is to the left. So the arrow always tells you where your infinity is going to go. Okay, so it says give the solution set in interval notation. So I'm going to get all my x's on the left side. So I'm going to minus 2x from the 4x, get negative 6x, bring down my 3, minus the 3. So negative 6x is greater than or equal to 5. I divide by a negative 6. When I divide by a negative, I flip my sign. So x is less than or equal to negative 5, 6. It did not ask me to graph it, but I'm going to show you what that would look like. It's going this way. So if I were to bring that down, that's negative infinity, positive infinity. If you just look at what's kind of highlighted, it's negative infinity, comma, negative 5/6 bracket. And now we're solving a 3-part inequality. You just treat it the same, like the x is being multiplied by 6 and subtracted by 8. So you would add 8, you just add 8, all the way across. It's kind of like you got 2 divider lines. So that's 9 is less than or equal to 6x is less than or equal to 12. And then how do you get rid of multiply by 6? You divide by 6, divide by 6, divide by 6. So that's 3 halves is less than or equal to x is less than or equal to 2. Now, if the x is in the middle, you just put it bracket, bracket, 3 halves, comma 2. So I guess I should have added that. I actually have an, if you need me to, let me know, and I will put up, I have a video on just how to write in interval notation. If it's x is between B and A, that would look like this, A comma B. And if it's like less than or equal to, that looks like this. I always say if it has the line, you draw the line. Okay, let's go back to where we were. Okay, we're on quadratic inequalities. Just, you can read the steps. I'm just gonna go. Step 1, factor. What multiplies to give you negative 15, adds to give you negative 2. That's gonna be negative 5, positive 3. So, and then step 1, factor. Step 2, I'm gonna pretend solve it. I would get 5 and negative 3 if it was equal. And we're going to do something called a sign chart. So I'm going to put my two values on a number line. So I got 5 and negative 3. So negative 3 would come first, then 5. And then I put my factors down the side. So x minus 5, x plus 3. And then they say you can test a point. I'll test a point on this one, and then the next one I'm going to show you a trick. Actually, I'm going to test a point on the x minus 5. So pick a number on this number line to the left of negative 3. How about negative 5? And then a number between negative 3 and 5, maybe 0. And then a number bigger than 5. A number bigger than 5, maybe 6. Let me get me a drink of water. Pause. Okay. If I plug in negative 5, I would get negative 5 minus 5. That is a negative number. I'll only care about the sign, okay? And then if I plug in 0, I would have 0 minus 5. That is a negative number. And then if I plug in 6, 6 minus 5 is a positive number. Here's the trick. X minus 5 goes with 5. He's negative until he gets to his answer, then he changes to positive. As long as your x is positive. If your x is negative, that's going to change. If the x minus 5 is squared, that's going to change. The reason is x minus 3 is a line that looks like this. It's negative below the x-axis until it gets to its answer, negative 3, and then it changes to positive. So let's just do it that way. X plus 3 goes with negative 3. He's negative until he gets there. Then he changes to positive. Then you're going to get a total for each zone. 2 negatives make a positive. 1 negative makes a negative. 2 positives make a positive. And if you are struggling with this topic and need extra, I have more videos of me going over the same thing. I can give you extra practice, no problem. 2 negatives make a, oh yeah, I already got that. Now I go back to my question. My question is, I want to know where this thing is less than or equal to 0. Less than or equal to 0 means negative values. Let me make a note over here. If your equation is greater than 0, you want your positives. If it's less than 0, you want your negatives. Okay? So I want my positive, nope, just kidding, less than 0, negative answers. So it's negative here. So it's between negative 3 and 5. It has a line, so I draw a line. So I get a bracket. Let's do it again. We're going to factor again, but this time it has a number in front, so I'm going to work it all the way out. Negative 11x and negative 12x squared. So what multiplies to give me negative 12 adds to give me negative 11. That's going to be negative 12 and positive 1. So 3x squared, replace the middle, minus 12x plus 1x minus 4. Group 3x, x minus 4 plus 1. X minus 4, they're the same. That's how you know you're right. So x minus 4 and 3x plus 1. I pretend solve. I set them both equal to 0. I would get 4 and negative 1/3. I put the negative 1/3 and the 4 on a number line. I put the x minus 4 and the 3x plus 1 down the side. Okay, x minus 4 goes with 4. Okay. It's negative until it gets to its answer, then it changes to positive. 3x plus 1 goes with negative 1/3. That's the answer that I got when I set it equal to 0. He's negative until he gets to his answer, and then he changes to positive. So 2 negatives make a positive. 1 negative's a negative. It's thundering. 2 positives is a positive. Okay, now what answers do I want? I want the answers that are greater than 0. Greater than 0 this time are, well, always, are my positives, but this time my positives are on the outside. So that's negative infinity to the left, positive infinity is to the right, greater than 0, so I would say negative infinity to negative 1/3, and I would put a u. You always put a u because it's both. It's this one and this one. And then 4 to infinity. So I just want my positive answers. Checking on my time. I don't want this video to get too long, but there's a lot. Okay, now let's look at rational inequalities. For a rational inequality, I've got to get everything on one side. Before I can do anything, I have to get everything on one side and set it equal to 0. So I'm going to minus the 4. and I'm going to get a common denominator. So my common denominator would be x minus 3. The first one does not change, that's a 6. The second one, I would need to multiply the bottom by x minus 3. The rule is if I do it to the bottom, I do it to the top. So that would be 4x minus 12. Now, watch this negative. You see that negative right there? I'm going to change that. That's a plus, negative, positive. Keep flip change. So if I simplify the top, I combine my like terms, I have a 6 and a 12. So on the top, I have negative 4x plus 18. On the bottom, I have x minus 3. Now I'm going to do it the same way as I did before. I'm going to set them the top and bottom separately equal to 0. So if I set negative 4x plus 18 equal to 0, I minus the 18. I divide by the negative 4, and I get 9 over 2. And then the bottom, I get 3. And I'm going to go ahead and factor out a negative 2 out of the top, and then I have 2x minus 9. So when I do my number line, I've got a negative 3 and I've got a 9 halves. I'm actually going to split this thing up. I'm going to do the negative 2 separately, the 2x minus 9 and the x minus 3, and I'm going to put them down the side. I have a negative 2, a 2x minus 9, and an x minus 3. Now, you're like, why do I have more stuff on the side than I have across the bottom? You never have more numbers across the bottom than you have x's. That negative 2 is just a number, okay? And negative 2 does not have an answer across the bottom, so negative 2 is always negative. 2x minus 9, he goes with 9 halves. He's negative until he gets there, then he changes to positive. And then x minus 3 goes with negative 3. It's negative until he gets there, changes to positive. Now notice what the negative 2 did. It basically changed all the signs. So if I had used the negative 4x plus 18, it actually would have been positive until it got there and then changed to negative because my x was negative. I just always factor out a negative or factor out my number, and that takes care of it for me. And I know this video is getting long, I'm sorry. Negative, positive, negative. This lesson's a little yucky. Greater than or equal to 4. Oh, just kidding. Greater than or equal to 0. So I want positive answers. My positive answer is here. So I would say negative 3 to 9 halves. It has a bracket because it has a line, but negative 3, I can't have a 3 on the bottom. That's one of my answers that I was not allowed to have because that's not in my domain. I can't divide by 0. I'm not allowed to do that. So I can't put a bracket on an answer that gives me 0 in the bottom. Be careful there. And we're doing one more and we're done. A polynomial inequality, I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm going to factor, take an x out. I would have x squared minus 9. That factors into x plus 3 and x minus 3. So I have 3 answers. I have 0, negative 3, and 3. I have 3 answers because that is cubed. Whatever that number is, that tells you how many answers you have. So in order, negative 3 comes before 0, comes before 3. Put my factors down the side. And I'm going to do a signed graph. X, let's do these with color. X goes with 0. Everything's fine. It's negative till it gets there. Changes to positive. X plus 3 goes with negative 3. Negative till it gets there. Changes to positive. X minus 3 goes with 3. Negative until it gets there. Changes to positive. So 3 negatives make a negative. 2 negatives make a positive. 1 negative makes a negative. 3 positives make a positive. So what am I looking for? I'm looking for less than or equal to 0. That's my negative answers. So that's going to be negative infinity to negative 3, bracket, because, sorry, it has a line, and then 0 to 3. Okay, I think that's all of that one. Sorry, it's a little longer.